UKLC is presented by Curry's PC World.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 2, day 1 of the UKLC, brought to you by Curry's PC World Gaming. And hello to all of our viewers over on the BBC. Nice to have you. My name's Hitbrain, and I am joined by Jamada. Jamada, how are you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. There's been quite a lot of League of Legends going on this week. A lot of the major regions starting up, particularly obviously the LEC. NLC had its first week too, so it's been just me trying to keep up with everything. But it's been super fun so far.
It's always really hard when everything starts up because there's so much going on and you want to watch it all, but there's a point where you're like, something has to give, and it can't be sleep at this point because it's just too much League of Legends. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty hectic week last week. We had 5 days of UK action, obviously 2 days of the UKLC, and then we had 3 days of NLC. So it was pretty all hands on. But honestly, I'm just excited to get going into week 2 because last week actually looked very competitive. All of our teams looked like everybody had a chance of winning. And again, we might have a similar split to like we had in summer where everything was very tight until the last week. That's what I'm hoping. And that's kind of what was hinted from the first week. But it is hard to say because we do still have a little bit more games to go. But hopefully after the end of today, everything stays pretty close and tight-knit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a couple of, like our opening game today, Enclave, Demise, both on 0-2, so whoever loses that is really, truly, most likely going to be alone at the bottom of the table. But yeah, you are right. We had so many competitive matches last week, and realistically, we could have just seen a lot of teams just pretty much go borderline 1-1 with each other.
Yeah.
My only early concerns, definitely Barrage. This, however, is the Bulldog versus Demise game, I believe, our opening game of week 1, and this was a doozy. Seeing Bulldog finally get their first win in what was a very, very long time, Jake, it was definitely a bit of a feels good if you're a long-term UK fan.
And what a team to beat as well. This is Demise. This is Rifty, one of the players we've been picking up so much. One of the veteran players in the UK scene. And Hachi coming out on his debut with the Aatrox, solo killing Rifty, and actually having 2 fantastic games. Beautiful stuff. And also, I mean, you can't forget about this moment. Spark getting a pentakill on the Kai'Sa, just flawless stuff.
Yeah, Spark the pentakill king. I think we had in the semi-finals as well versus Eminem A in Summer Split. He also managed to find himself a penna, so very, very comfortable and curious to keep track of Envision as things go on. Of course, champions with UKLC currently.
Yeah.
Definitely a big roster shuffle, only really maintaining Baby Muffin and Spark. And we certainly had some questions about who their carry would be, but, you know, Spark seems to be showing up so far. Him and Baby Muffin both, and here, old Team Eminem versus Resolve. This was... This was a fun game to watch.
Just every game was so good. We saw obviously for Envision that their play style was put Baby Muffin on an Enchanter and let Spark carry. But every team did stuff slightly different. And this was a fight that actually I believe came down to an auto attack from Harry. Yeah. If he could have got that off, he would have shut them down and taken I can't remember who the AD carry was there. Yusa, thank you. It was on the screen as well. He would have taken Yusa out, and that fight could have been entirely different. But because they got the interrupt in, they got Harry away from Yusa, the fight was able to swing back away from them. Honestly, just really, really fun stuff. Last week was so fun. We had a lot of really close games and genuinely hoping we can get a little bit more. But as the dust settles from week 1, let's have a little look at our standings and see where everybody is falling after the games from the first 2 days of action. So Envision and Resolve and Bulldog all lead the charge 2-0. Then it's London and M&M who are locked behind there with 1 apiece. And then Barrage, Demise, and Enclave all 0-2 at the moment. So there are 3 teams at the top, there's 3 teams at the bottom, but a good week and a bad week can literally just nullify all of those scores here.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, nature of it only having been 1 week past. So, you know, looking towards the top half, I think the big surprise for a lot of people is definitely Bulldog sitting at that 2-0 score. But, you know, they came out and they impressed. They shut down Demise pretty, honestly, in that game pretty handily. And
question is, can they keep that going?
Yeah.
Can they keep this unbeaten streak going? Obviously, they'll be playing M&M at the end of the day. But starting out with Demise versus Enclave, then it's Resolve versus London. Third up will be Envision versus Barrage, and Bulldog versus M&M is going to be the last one. Jamada, which game there is really jumping out to you as the one you're excited for?
Oh, I'm actually kind of stuck between the opening game and potentially this Envision versus Barrage matchup. You know, I think opening game of the day here, Rifty into Only Angel, two very long-standing UK top laners. So that's going to be very nice to watch. And just in general, Enclave played a very clean early macro game. Their rotations towards Herald and neutral objectives in general in the opening 15 minutes of their games were really clean, but definitely some concerns about proactivity sort of moving forward. Whereas Demise, it kind of felt like it was somewhat the opposite. Obviously, the opening game, when you have a composition built around one side of the map and that side of the map kind of fails a bit, it can be hard to execute. But Fennec and Pillar were really pulling through. So, you know, if we can see that same level of performance from that mid jungle of Demise, then I think we could really be in for a pretty close-knit game. I just want to see Enclave in general be a little more proactive. And, you know, I think there was maybe some early concerns about Rifty because of that day one performance, but day two, he was fine. He was actually the main threat for Demise. So, you know, expected to see him pop off.
This game's going to be really good. We got Only Angel versus Rifty in the top lane. And for me, that is just a game that really jumps out. We've got two very seasoned top laners, and it's a good one to open up on because Demise, they're looking to kind of return and get themselves on the scoreboard. And I think this is a real pride piece for the side of Demise as well, especially for Rifty, who, you know, getting solo killed by a rookie in the scene was probably not what he really wanted, and getting solo killed multiple times is probably not what he wanted. But before we talk a little bit more about that game, let's round out and actually have a look at the predictions that me and you made coming into today's games. Jamada, you copied my homework a little bit there, mate.
All right, look, I honestly, the opening game today, I think could go either way. I think if we see a more consistently proactive Enclave out of that mid game, then, you know, we could realistically see Enclave take this game. But, you know, looking sort of further down the list, Resolve, I think we're going to be handing out a lot of Resolve predictions to split. And with Barrage, I mean, honestly, the only team that I'm kind of currently concerned about in the league, their week one performances were not convincing at all. So hopefully they've cleaned that up. And, you know, going into Envision, they can certainly, you know, maybe make things happen if they kind of stick towards this team fight orientated draft style that they have. But that's also Envision style. So it's going to just be kind of a butt of heads. And with Bulldog and M&M, you know, look at my
boys. I think for any team watching, I'm sorry, they're like a little bit of personal bias might come into our voting on the M&M one. You have a little bit more of a legitimate reason. I've just been an M&M fanboy for years, so that is like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys at home about it. That's just what's going on when I'm always predicting M&M. I think I predicted them in pretty much all of their games over on the UKLC. Sorry, the NLC as well, bar one where it was just like, they're not winning that.
Yeah, they're not.
But you know, it's going to be an interesting day. It's definitely going to be an interesting day. That last game actually is going to be really fun for me. Personal bias aside, Bulldog were incredibly impressive last week. I sung enough praises about Hachi at this point. M&M, we spoke to Harry as well a lot in the interview in day 2 last week. And he was a bit annoyed about the fact that even he knew one auto attack changed that fight. And he said he cancelled a couple of auto attacks. And he is an AD carry who I follow for a while, and he's a bit of a perfectionist in his role. So things like that are obviously stuff that probably are going to wear at him a bit. So coming into this week, I'm sure he's coming in with a clean mental. I really want to see, you know, Harry on top performance here, get his hands on something like that Kaiser. Or the Caitlyn was open, but he's not really picking that because Eddie Carapul's kind of shifted away from his main. And I think he's playing towards what everybody else is playing at. Yeah,
definitely. You know, it's not the meta of, hey, it's permanently banning Caitlyn versus Harry anymore. You know, the other champions currently just utilize some of those newer items far better than she can. So, I'm still excited to see how he performs into that Bulldog roster, particularly obviously into Casper, who, we didn't really expect much of Hachi, so we hyped up Casper a lot, and Hachi ended up just kind of taking the spotlight. But Casper is still a very strong AD carry player, so I think that might actually just in general potentially just be the matchup in that game to keep our eyes on the AD carries.
Yeah. Well, our first game of the day is going to be Enclave versus Demise. This is the one that we'll be starting out on. This one where, like I said, a bit of a pride piece for the side of Demise, especially from Rifty, who, you know, he's playing with I'm right in saying it was a rookie bot lane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or is it a rookie
an almost entirely rookie bot lane.
Yes.
I want to say it's Kuzi has had one split in Germany.
Yes.
But definitely a rookie to the UKLC, and one split. Sometimes that's not enough experience to really always make you feel super confident. And it can feel like you are still a rookie. But you know, is that almost full rookie bot lane?
Yeah. So you know, a team kind of been taken under the wing of Rifty. This is something he's done a lot. We talked about that. Is he likes to take in these rookies, and someone you would love to have if you're new to the scene is the likes of Rifty, someone who's normally a bit of a rock in the top lane. He's going to be going up against a rock in itself in Only Angel, but this game's going to be so explosive. Guys, we're going to throw to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be back with Enclave versus Demise. So we'll see you in a second.
Watching the world go by under the moonlit sky. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. Sun-kissed and having fun, ocean to summer sun. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. We know all ain't gonna change, and we know the stars will never fade. We'll never walk away, make this our real life, just you and me, right where I want to be. Right where I want to be. Never letting go, never letting go. 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 Oh, watching the world go by under the moonlit sky. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. Sun-kissed and having fun, ocean to summer sun. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. We know all ain't gonna change, and we know the stars will never fade. We'll never walk away, make this our real life, just you and me, right where I want to be. Right where I want to be. Never letting go, never letting go. Never letting go, never letting go. Never letting go, never letting go. Never letting go, never
I found something out about Jamada. League of Legends existed when he was doing GCSEs. That's for me. That's shocking. That game did not exist. League of Legends wasn't even a thing. Oh man.
No, it's. I'm young, even though it might. I might not look.
You're a little older than that.
Yeah, no.
Were you season 1 then? GCSEs? We should be talking about the game.
We should be talking about the game.
Were you season 1?
No, when I sat my GCSEs, it was like season 3 or 4.
Oh my. What?
Yeah.
I started in like season 3. Oh wow, I was working a job back then. Anyway, hello.
Yeah, hey guys.
Welcome back to the desk as we're getting ready to go into our first game of the day between Enclave and Demise. We bigged this one up a little bit, mainly towards this top lane. I actually want to have a little talk about this bot lane. We were talking about how there's a few rookies on the Demise side in the bot lane. What are we looking at in this bot lane matchup? Who are we excited for?
I mean, Zandru didn't really get a whole bunch of opportunities to kind of show off what he could potentially be capable of. So I'm excited to see him. Kuzi had a pretty okay performance throughout. So I'm kind of expecting more of the same. But looking towards that Enclave bottom side, though, it is that duo import bottom lane. Speaking from experience, when you build rosters, you want the strength of your roster to come from those import players. And for Enclave, that is Impulse, that is Sorex. So, today, last week, we kind of spoke about, hey, Cleanser and Only Angel, they've played together for a split. They are relatively good friends, so they play off each other quite well. But today, I potentially want to see, Cleanser maybe try and bump Impulse and Sorex up and give them some resources, let them try and take over the game, because I feel like Only Angel would be one of the only top laners in the league who has the experience to actually hold Rifty in lane and not kind of give Rifty loads of opportunities. Assuming we don't see day one Rifty, not give him the opportunity.
As long as we don't see that, that's the thing.
So Enclave, like sort of highlighted earlier, very strong early game looking team, but they seem to be struggling with that mid game transition, right? Setting up proper lane assignments, making sure they're not dropping resources, making sure they're actually keeping their foot on the pedal. And that'll kind of be the thing to track for them, is if they play that same clean style of League of Legends in the early game where they secure the Dragon for pretty much free, they secure the Herald for pretty much free, how do they move forward from there? Whereas Demise, I think realistically, it's just about seeing how stable they remain in the early game, because they looked fine in some of these mid to late game fights.
Yeah, well, we're into picks and bans. The Camille been taken away from Only Angel. Followed up by the Olaf. Pretty standard stuff there in the Olaf ban. Saw a lot of that. Expecting to see a Seraphine show up. We did have a lot of Kai'Sa, but Kai'Sa also getting answered by the Aphelios. We've had the Misfortune. There's a lot of AD carries in the meta at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what we see banned away in that area and what looks to get picked up. But no Seraphine in this game. Don't want to be dealing with that. It's pretty flexible between the support and the mid lane. So for now, over to Enclave, what do they want to take away next?
Yeah, I mean, most likely just kind of target bans. Akali still somewhat remains near omnipresent in bans. Either side, really. It just depends on who doesn't really want to play it. Seraphine, though, definitely, we saw some pretty impressive Seraphines. We saw some very mediocre Seraphines last week. Yeah. But the potential of that champion is ridiculously high. Landing those multi-man ultimates, it's game-changing, and the ults are just so hard to dodge. And rounding out the draft, we're going to see Talia and Gragas banned away, so we could just end up seeing a AD first pick. Oh, Pantheon slipped. Slipped through.
Completely forgot about him. How did he slip through?
Yeah.
That's a massive pick.
Yeah, massive pickup, of course. Still technically playable in the bottom lane, but, at the moment, most prominently the jungle and the solo lanes. So Enclave looking to respond, hopefully, with some strong picks here. Looks like they want to actually pick up the Hecarim, so this could just be a nice slot to take Kai'Sa with it. Very strong at diving, and it does seem like that's going to be the choice for them. And now if you're Demise, you probably want to match with the AD, and you want to keep that Pantheon flexed. You might also want to take away that Alistar to keep him away from that Kai'Sa bottom lane.
I just quite like this first lock-in for Enclave. The Hecarim Kai'Sa is really nice. The Kai'Sa obviously just incredibly oppressive at the moment. Now Demise, they're going to be forced to pick something up in the AD role to not get complete everything banned away. That Ivern's bait, man, it could go top. It could genuinely go top.
Let's talk about the Ivern for a little bit, because we did actually see Demise pick it up last week. They were the only team to do so, I believe. But particularly over the last week or so, we've seen a lot of hype around that Moonstone and Staff of Flowing Water build. And of course, over the last 2 days of the LEC, we've seen a whole heap of top lane Ivern. So we're going to have to see this. I can't believe I'm saying it. Ivern actually is a flex now. Okay, well, Enclave, they round out their draft. We'll get back to the Ivern pretty soon. Round out their draft with that Galio. Still flex towards that mid lane. I'm a really big fan of it too. Flexes mid and bot right now really supplements a lot of the dive that Enclave seem to be going for. And I'm excited for Enclave right now because this is a much more aggressive draft than what they were picking up in week 1. So hopefully this spells that they're going to be able to keep up that same level of priority and proactivity early, and they actually continue to keep their foot on the pedal with some of these big ultimates. It's
a real dogpile comp. You get the Hecarim ult into the backline, suddenly a Galio joins him in there, Kai'Sa sliding in. Like, sure you have an Ivern, sure you have an Samira. That Pantheon, if he jumps forward, everyone just jumps away onto his backline and just murders them. Really, really nasty stuff. Bit of a nod to Hatchie there. They ban away the Aatrox. Rifty doesn't want to get solo killed in lane anymore. Allison fresh banned away in the support role. Pretty much expected. Ali incredibly strong, and I feel like this might have to be a Leona ban here for Demise because I think our Leona fits this comp so well on Enclave side. So they could just go for the Leo and then get a counter pick top lane once they know what they're going for. It is actually going to be the Victor locked in. I forget that Galio could technically support as well. It's not just the mid laner. So.
With the Victor being locked in, that does just kind of say that it's going to be Sorax piloting the Galio. And I was starting to, like, with the 2 support bans, you know, the Mice haven't actually picked up a support yet, but also 2 supports that are, you know, they have a fine time into Galio. So we'll have to see what the answer is from Demise on this Victor, and it looks like we're just going to get the Echo from Pillar, which I personally don't associate him with, but it seems like he's pretty happy to just take it out here. So now I think probably this should be Kuzi's pick. He knows what he is playing into. I think you end up just probably defaulting to the Leona here. It's one of the only few strong supports up. I guess you could also go Nautilus. Rel's probably...
For the Rel.
Rel's probably fine, yeah. So Samira Rel, really decent combo. The only thing is I don't actually know how the interactions work between Samira passive, the knock-up on the ultimate. I would assume that you can whilst some of the champions are temporarily displaced, but I could just be speaking nonsense right now. But Enclave now, top lane pick, seems like they're borderline just going for the... Yeah, borderline just going for the Resolve comp from last week. We actually saw almost an identical comp from Resolve. I'm trying to think what their other pick was. Because they ran Galio in the mid lane, and they ran something, even Divio. I think they had Alistar. So, you know, almost identical to that comp. And seems like it's actually going to be Rifty piloting this Pantheon top. I mean, to be fair, Rifty on Ivern.
Ivern isn't a Rifty pick, right?
Yeah,
like, that is just not a champion I associate a Rifty. I associate a Rifty kind of a real win lane player.
Yeah.
You know, we'll ignore last week. Normally a win lane player. Put him on something passive like the Ivern. I trust he would be able to pilot the champion with no problem. Like that's not the issue here. But I do feel like it doesn't really suit Rifty's style. We already know Fenix played the Ivern, so again, probably a little bit more comfortable on that pick. And as everybody rounds out here, it's going to be the Pantheon versus the Malphite. One kind of cool thing about the Rel pickup is typically we've been seeing Sterix getting picked up second on the Hecarim. Rel could just turn shields off, so almost kind of making the Sterix shield redundant. Not really too many other shields it's going to really worry about. Obviously, Malphite does passively have his shield, but it's not like a massive one.
Yeah.
But I think it's very obvious what Enclave are looking to do. This is, we walk at you, we press R, and you die. On the side of Demise, what are they looking to do? What is this comp built to do?
So at least the way that I would look at this Demise draft here, I think it's more or less about sort of playing these solo lanes out, letting Echo sort of dominate this mid lane, get priority, and then Pillar and Fennec on this Ivern kind of just walk to sides, probably towards this Rifty lane, and kind of just open up the map ever so slowly because they can win out on a lot of these early skirmishes. Ivern, despite him being a very utility-heavy support, if he does have these sort of early game skirmishing bruisers like the Pantheon, like the Echo, he can really facilitate them to, you know, new heights of skirmishing. And, you know, you ask solo laners, who are some of the best champions at early game skirmishing? Echo, Pantheon, they're going to be up there. in those lists. And here we are, Jake.
Well, we're on to the Rift for our first game of week 2. 0-2 on Demise. After losing to Bulldog, giving them their first win at the UKLC.
Yeah, very, very long time. I don't think we can emphasize that enough. That, at least for me, after competing against Bulldog in the previous split, it definitely felt good to actually see them get a win because, you know, they deserved it, man.
Yeah,
they really
like, I think that was the first one they've had since joining the UKLC. They obviously were, I believe, in the first season of the UKLC. I don't think they've done any other ones since then.
No.
But they were in the first one and they got a few wins there. It wasn't particularly the greatest performance, unfortunately, but at least they found wins. This time, scraping by back into the second season and then kicking the door down and just coming out swinging. They look so good. Now, we are back on our ugly mugs. Unfortunately, we've had a quick pause. I think we got a little bit of ping issues. Thank you. The server's bringing the chat bar up so I can see what's going on. So should be getting back into the game once that gets sorted. Again, we are online, unfortunately, and sometimes players' internets do play up a little bit. Yeah.
Nature of online, you can't really get around it. And definitely had some server issues during the week too. So hopefully these things will be resolved fairly quickly and we won't have too many of them throughout, not just today, but the weekend. But yeah, hoping for Demise that they can definitely turn things around off that 0-2 week. You know, particularly the second game, if Rifty gets a slightly different angle on some of these flanks, he could have taken over on that Vladimir game, and definitely want to see how they handle Barons too, because a couple of very curious Baron calls towards that mid game, which resulted in Eminem actually taking a Baron. And off the back of that, I think they ended within the duration of that buff. So, you know,
so
eyes on that.
Chilling from the game, we're a minute in.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about these teams and what we think they're looking to do. What is the most exciting thing you've seen in competitive league in the last few weeks since it's come back? What's been like the pick or the play style that's impressed you the most, but maybe our teams haven't replicated or have been trying to replicate, but not to the same level? What's like the thing you're excited for?
So as somebody that used to play a whole bunch of Ivern and still dabbles a bit, I'm curious to see how a lot of this Moonstone Renewer and Flowing Staff stuff sort of develops over time, whether Riot just puts their foot down and just guts it to the ground. Because it is very oppressive. Demise the only team still to have picked up the Ivern, so we'll have to see how, you know, some of the LEC games in particular have potentially inspired. Because we do see, like you say, we do see a lot of teams sort of draw from the higher leagues. Away from sort of the jungle picks. I'm curious to see more Rel, honestly. I think that this champion is still a little bit untapped, a little bit untested. Definitely shown up a couple of times. I think in a dive composition like this, where champions are going to be coming into Rel, she can definitely do her job a lot better of disrupting a lot of these dives. So if we are going to actually see Rel function properly, this would be the game. So hyped for that. Aside from that, some more Seraphine, but she seems to be permabanned. So, you know.
You know what? I don't want to see any Seraphine. I finally tried it out. Like, I played Seraphine when she first came out, and then I was like, that's all right, and put it back. And then after seeing like a whole week of Seraphine, I went to solo queue, whipped out the Seraphine mid, and was like, this is just so stupidly strong. Like, I was like, what is the counterplay on that? It's just you hit that ult, and it goes halfway down the map, charming everybody. It's such a strong champion.
Fun little tidbit. Obviously, if any ARAM players, obviously ARAM is one lane. And normally you'll just auto path back to lane. I had the pleasure of witnessing a Seraphine R go from the tier 1 tower all the way to Fountain because it just goes in a line.
Because it's the full width, it's full length of it every time it hits a champion, right? And it's already quite long. Like if you actually look at the indicator, it almost goes off your screen if you've locked your screen. So it's actually kind of crazy long, that ability.
Yeah, it's stupid. And on Summoner's Rift, if you're talking about, you know, some more complex-ish things, geography of the map, choke points, it just makes it so easy to hit. I'm trying to see
So what's going on?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are still having a few ping issues for Fennec. So our guys in the back room are currently sorting out a solution. So we'll be a couple more minutes before we get into our first game. I know we're all itching to get going, but unfortunately, these things do happen. We do need to make sure that, you know, players are playing on a reasonable ping and not, you know, playing with 120, because that's pretty rough. I mean, even if you're playing Ivern, who, you know, you don't really need more than one hand to play that champion.
No. Speaking from experience, you really don't.
I had a friend who, when he used to play League of Legends, he's stopped now. And you'll soon find out why he stopped. He used to click the abilities to cast them with his mouse. He don't even one-handed.
Next topic. Next topic.
Yeah, he used to play old Scion. That was that.
Right. Now it's all starting to make sense, Jake.
The old point and click stun.
Yeah. Trying to make sure things are on as fair a playing ground as possible. It's not nice playing on high ping. I'm sure most of us have experienced it. Not enjoyable. Kind of the end point. Trying to see if Fennec can get his issues resolved. That was a fast reconnect. Obviously, viewers can't see.
They can't see us. From what I've been hearing, it looks like the issues will still be going on for a little bit. So we're going to throw to a quick break while we get this ironed out, so you don't have to look at us anymore. We'll be back with this game as soon as we get it sorted, so we'll see you in a second.
Must be dreaming, think I saw a ghost. Or was it an angel of the past that we all know? Ain't got the answers, but I hold the hope. So I'm holding on to the love, embracing the unknown. Now I'm dancing to the music. I'll just keep dancing till I lose it. Yeah, I got that Friday feeling. Yeah, it's all that I've been needing. I'm dreaming, I don't wanna know, 'cause this is all I need, a perfect story told. I ain't got the answers, I still hold the hope. So I'm holding on to the love, embracing the unknown. Now I'm dancing to the music. I'll just keep dancing till I lose it. Yeah, I got that Friday feeling. Yeah, it's all that I've been needing. Feel it.
Waking up, the sun is rising. We can go anywhere, do anything. Put your hand in my hand, let's explore. Travel places no one's been before. Leave your fears and hear you calling. Wherever you go, wherever you are, your beauty's unique. Melody so sweet, our differences make our union so great. Together we perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. Together we will be perfect harmony. Let's get lost in a forest of green. Lose ourselves in the blue of the sea. Paint the world any color we choose. Or a rainbow with all of the hues. Make the world the way that we dream. Wherever you go, wherever.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We are getting ready to go into this game. We had to extend the break a little bit more, but it looks like everything has all been ironed out and sorted. So we're heading into the game between Demise and Enclave any minute now. And finally, it gives us something to talk about because we haven't seen any league yet today. We have just looked at a pause screen for the last few minutes.
Yeah, hoping to speak over some League of Legends. It is what I'm here for. Is what we're here for. And hopefully these issues shouldn't rear their head back up. At the very least in this game, because internet can be, it can be troublesome, and servers are servers. So don't think we need to get much onto that. If you was trying to play League of Legends on Friday, you probably didn't play League of Legends on Friday.
Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't actually log. I tried once and then didn't because I spent most of the time just watching LEC. To be honest, I spent the day off League, which was actually quite nice. But we're ready to go into this game. Looks like the pause has resolved and the teams are all ready to go. So heading into this game now.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
What a guess.
Minions have spawned.
So this mid lane, the Victor versus Echo. I feel like this is probably quite rough for the Victor, right?
Yeah, so, this matchup, if you're a seasoned Victor player, you can definitely pilot out well. You really want to abuse your range advantage at level 1. You even start Q, just get as much harass down on this Echo early on, but he's going to have the corrupting pot, so he is going to be able to stay in through some of it. And actually, Sykes has gone for that on the other end too. So you can already kind of see how aggressive his positioning is. So Sykes is doing a good job at just probably pushing Echo back in the lane. But yeah, once those levels start coming in, the Echo Q will just start to pretty much one-shot waves. But it's practically the same for Victor once he hits about level 7 and gets the E upgrade, the augmentation, which they also changed in the preseason. You only need... they've got the Silver Serpents system, if you're familiar with GP.
Most played champion, actually.
There you go. So for anyone who isn't, takedowns will give you 25 sort of little upgrade coins. And then anything else, CS, jungle camps, I want to say will give you 1 every 100 points so you can upgrade an ability. So
am I not wrong in thinking cannons give a little bit more? I could be very wrong there. I thought they
know what? Cannons probably do give 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually entirely sure. That's something I've got to look up.
Once you got that 100, you upgrade one of your abilities just like normal. But it's nice because you don't have to invest gold into basically becoming your champion now, Victor. You just get upgrades via playing.
Yep.
Via decent farming. So is nice. Obviously, once you get that E upgrade and you've got the empowered laser beam, means the waves do just melt to him.
Yeah, and Fennec, Pingdi is on his way to the top lane. He took a very covert route. Gonna sneak around all of this vision from Enclave. This could, honestly, Only Angel's low enough to just die from the burst.
Yeah, Rifty just jumps in. Fennec is actually just gonna wait in the wings. One spear from Rifty could just be enough as he's charging it up. Only Angel able to dodge away.
Oh boy.
As here comes Fennec. He is just being a nuisance.
Yeah. just going to be a nuisance here. I don't think he's going to be able to actually break through the passive of Malphite. So not going to be able to interrupt his base any longer. So just most likely going to retreat to that Skull Crab. Does mean Cleanser, if he wants to, can actually go and check in on Fennec's bottom side jungle. But it looks like he's a little more interested on this Scuttle. And is actually just going to take a reset, which is kind of interesting. If he just presses tab, he should know the Raptors are most likely still up. And they've even got a ward on the Krugs. So even more questions as, okay, Fennec's just back. And this time...
Yeah, I think this might be Only Angel dead this time. He's going to try and turn onto Rifty. Rifty taking a fair amount of damage, but with the shield and the Aegis, and he can't really do too much here. And Rifty, it was a rough start last week, a much better start this week as he gets himself first blood.
Yeah, and nature of the matchup, and of course Fennec second time in this lane, and this is what we kind of thought would most likely occur, Fennec playing around these solo lanes. Rifty has managed to get himself a really nice wave position consistently, and Only Angels had to overextend. And there's a pretty free pickup on that first blood pillar. Gonna get a nice trade in. Sykes might have to flash.
I think the gravity field was enough to scare Pillar off, although Pillar does get one last Time Winder out, just for a little bit extra damage to work with. And Fennec's just gonna head back into his jungle and farm away. Cleanser has managed to accrue himself a pretty healthy lead here. That's a two-man taunt coming in, actually. Enclave maybe looking for a little something here. Cozy gets the stun off of the Attract and Repel as he jumps away with a smash. Sorex getting close to having that Justice Punch back, but meanwhile in the mid lane, they are looking to turn it around. Sykes takes out Pillar. Demise's bot lane going incredibly low down there.
Yeah, Kuzi, I think off-screen flashed. And in that mid lane, very nice guy from Cleanser as Rifty's just,
They got teleport. Only Angel's actually going to try and escape here with a Q. Doesn't dodge on the spear. Sykes is too slow. Now Pillar with the home guards will run him down. Puts the gravity field in, but the parallel convergence not going to quite stun him. And Sykes able to get to safety, but loses so much health.
Yeah, the response play though, immediate from Enclave on this dragon, and pretty much very similar from what we saw. Enclave, a lot of high early priority on these neutral objectives. Can be a very early nice roll. See what the next dragon is. Looks like it's going to be an ocean, so Cloud or Mountain on the table. And honestly, both those souls a lot of value for this Enclave draft, as this is a black screen of a picture-in-picture.
We were trying to do the replay, but unfortunately cut to black.
Yeah.
We see what Only Angel's been seeing this game pretty much.
Yeah, black and grey. Or Only Angel.
Nothing but sadness.
Nothing but sadness. Fennec's here again. He's probably dead.
Oh, this is... Rifty is actually just out for Only Angel. He is not having what happened to him last week at all. A lot of attention has been used by Fennec, and what this has actually grown here, what this has actually caused is Clinton's farmed up an absolute storm. He's got the Sheen, working his way towards what I believe to be the Divine Sunderer from the items he's got in his inventory. Got level lead on Fennec, and Fennec is still hanging about. He's still trying to stop Only Angel from farming. And Only Angel, flashless, has got Cleanser waiting about. And I think he's looking to bait here. Rifty has the R, but Cleanser may just look to run him down with the E. That's Rifty going very, very low. They put the shield on. Only Angel comes down. That's a big charge, but Rifty will lose his life, and Cleanser gets a shutdown. Fennec's now all alone. Cleanser's just going to catch the wave, and Rifty has been getting a lot of gold put into him, but now the Hecarim cashing in on the success.
Okay, so it's a very comical series of events. Am I going to have to pause?
Is Fennec actually going to farm, or is he just going to catch Sykes? Just about getting out of that one.
This is the kind of jungler you want in your solo queue games. He's just permanently in your lanes helping out. He doesn't give a damn about himself, but no. So the payoff for this incredible amount of topside aggression here is that Cleanser's been able to farm up an absolute storm. He's practically just kind of full cleared, borderline on repeat, I believe. And you can see he's at 58 CS, the most CS in the game, which almost 8 minutes into the game as a jungler, that's pretty damn rare. He also soaked up some of that top wave.
He's getting mid-wave at the moment.
And he's getting mid-wave. So this is, we're approaching like funnel levels of a jungle here as, if Rifty landed that Q, that's just, it's a bad trade anyway. But it wouldn't have felt nice as,
no, he landed it there. There you go.
Yeah.
This is,
Hey, do you know where Fennec is?
He's topside. Oh no.
Okay, let's
Cleanser's
talk
just
about...
like top tossed. I don't care about top.
Let's I mean, even Pillars coming up here, man. This is rough. This is not enjoyable.
A lot of
I mean,
effort to gank a zero. They're popping the ulti here. Only Angel does have flash.
doesn't have
Slow speed away. Pillars coming in. He flashed. I don't know if that was particularly the play.
it's
and
hard to
Sykes-
keep a straight face.
It's Only Angels with the Angels now.
Yes, he is. So hopefully we can see Enclave posturing towards this bottom side. Sorex doesn't actually have ultimate to immediately join this skirmish, but this is kind of what Enclave needed to be doing a little more of. You know, actually responding on the opposite side of the map more proactively in terms of just being able to zone Zandra and Cruzy off some waves, which they are doing now, but, you know, you compare it to some of the damage that's occurring on the... Only Angel has now decided he's the mid laner. That's how much damage is going on the top side. And he doesn't even have
They're
R.
actually looking.
Yeah.
Pillar does have no R. Actually does have
Yeah.
R. He's going to go down anyway. Cleanser cashes in on the kill.
Yeah. Did Only Angel get an assist on that?
No.
All right. Well,
So,
900 gold.
just this is just bullying.
Okay,
This
can
is
we
just
can we
straight
look
up
at
bullying?
can we look away from Only Angel? I'm kind of
Has Only Angel sold his items and gone support? That's the real question.
Does he have a relic shield in his inventory?
No. It's actually even sadder than having a relic shield. It's a ruby crystal and a clock armor.
So he's got level
6.
6. Yeah, he's got level 6. So he's you've heard of River Shen.
Have you heard of River Malphite?
Have you heard of River Malphite? I mean, I think we should try and sort of look at this in the grander scheme of things, the actual state of the game here for Enclave, because whilst yes, almost comedic levels, Only Angel has been disallowed from playing League of Legends. Just small side note, Rifty has his Eclipse finished up, so that's first
Only
mythic
Angel
of the
has
game.
20 farm.
Yeah, Only Angel has 20 farm. That was because he just hit a ward, by the way. That was
Yeah, I know.
20th,
Sorex has 3 less farm than him right now.
Yeah. Cleanser's definitely cashed in really hard. In fact, he's got the most gold in the game. Has more gold than Rifty currently. And he does have that Divine Thunder finished up. So wherever he goes for Enclave right now, you could definitely see a lot of success for them, as they are just going to start the second dragon. And
This is a potential win condition. Sure,
Yeah.
Rifty's doing fine in the top lane, but eventually Only Angel will be able to just, not get constantly tower dived in. Impulse got himself a 10 CS lead over Xandru. You've got mid lane, there's a lead there with the kill and the assist, and you got a very, very fed Hecarim right now.
yeah.
So they put a lot of effort and a lot of their eggs in the Rifty basket, and it's really on Rifty to make sure that he can set his team up for success. Like you said, got the Eclipse, and Only Angel just doesn't want to even get close to him right now, but Enclave may be looking for a little something in the bot side. Sorex is just going to clear out some of this vision, and Cleanser knows that he's not been seen. He's walking through all of the pink wards to get the safest way into the lane.
But this is the thing. Look where the Demise bot lane is. At least to me, from an Enclave perspective, this is illegal. And it seems like
they're
Enclave,
coming in.
they agree.
They got teleport as well. Everybody's coming in on this fight. They get the stun off. Sorex is going to go very low already. Pillar jumping in forward is going to get the snare off as Cleanser charges away to safety. Here comes the heroic entrance. Knocks up onto one. Only Angel still got that R, waiting for his opportunity. Sorex lands a big justice punch. Rifty's caught out. An Impulse is going to try and take it down, but Cleanser swoops in, closes with a massive Inferno trigger, doing a lot of damage, but gets taunted out of it. And now he has to jump away with the Wild Rush. Impulse continues the chase, and Enclave step away, but Sykes isn't done. He flashes forwards and doesn't get the kill. Enclave take the fight while Pillar takes the plates.
So back and forth. I think Pillar's here because he TP'd down and actually ends up owing back to wherever he came from. And it just results in a really long skirmish where, honestly, if Sandru picks up one kill off of that Infernal trigger, we could have just seen reset after reset after reset, and Enclave could have been really feeling the pain there. But despite Rifty having all of these resources, you saw there, his impact into this team composition wasn't very high, and this can be the issue with running the Pantheon. Yes, he's great at skirmishes, but when you've got a team composition with so much zone control and CC, as the Pantheon, there's only so much that you can do. I'm hoping that we do have a replay coming soon. We had some issues not too long ago, but this is the kind of the thing. With Demise, they've got this kind of skirmish-heavy comp. They don't really like team fighting like how Enclave does. So if Demise do kind of opt into some of these kind of like fights, it can go south pretty quickly. And it's why I was saying, it's really illegal that Enclave haven't punished this bottom lane harder whilst Only Angel's been suffering.
Ultimately, it was a good thing for Enclave until Pillar ulted back and then took loads of plates, and that resulted in the towers. But it's actually used the charge. His Chrono Shift still on cooldown. Cleanser gonna get the slow off.
Back though.
Pings back to safety. Looks for the dash away, but here comes Sorax. Can he find the taunt? No, he cannot. Pillar's out of there. Gets the shield as Daisy gets up, and here comes the Grand Starfall in to the ulti. Sykes gets the stun off. Sykes runs away for the moment, but he's going to be able to survive. The charge is not quite enough. Impulse slides in. Rifty's going low. Sorax looking for the Justice Punch. Gets himself a two-man taunt. Impulse trying to keep Closey away for the moment. They pull them in with the Magnet Storm as Rifty re-enters the fight, and Sorax loses his life. Enclave lose too. And they're going to have to be sent packing now as Daisy will go down to the tower.
Yeah, Only Angel not able to join this fight, so throughout, it just ends up being a numbers advantage for Demise. And these are the kind of skirmishes that they can definitely come up positive in. But you can see some of the tools available to Enclave makes it very scary to team fight here. And I mean, if Sorax had his ultimate available to provide a little more space, that could have been the difference maker. If Only Angel was rotated down earlier with that ultimate, that's the difference maker. So Demise, they really have to pick and choose some of these skirmishes carefully. Really have to play off some of these numbers advantages, because honestly, despite this huge pantheon that they found themselves with in the top side, he will eventually fall off. He will eventually struggle into this team composition of Enclave.
Yeah, he absolutely will. Now, the Gale Force has been finished up onto Impulse. So, got the Serrated as well. That's the Empowered Caffeine Rain. Xandru opting for an early Serrated, which actually means that he will be a little bit further away from his Mortal Shield bow, as Rifty getting a lot of attention put onto him here. Cleanser will just get the charge off, and with that Divine Sunderer, Rifty, he might be strong, but he's not that strong. Almost getting it with the Void Seeker, as Only Angel finally able to pick himself up some farm. 50 CS to 106, by the way. A 3,000 gold lead over to Rifty.
Yeah, he's got about 100 gold more than Kusi at the moment. So, have to keep our eyes on that. I mean, you know, bright side, Cleanser's got 7,000 gold. So that is effectively the trade-off here for all of this bullying, I think, of Only Angel. Cleanser's 501. Yeah.
Looking to try and get some control in the area here. Knowing that the next dragon up, the Cloud Soul, would actually be really big for Enclave.
This is not a great position for Demise to be in. Rifty's a long ways away still without TP or ultimate. He is making his way, but Enclave, they have their tools ready.
Remember, Cleanser actually has a pretty big level lead, so the smite damage is actually in favor of Enclave. Pillar looking for a flank. Watch for a parallel convergence as Rifty jumps over. Nobody's going to get caught by the parallel convergence as Dragon remains in control. Enclave stepping forward, then the charge onto two, into the heroic entrance. The wombo combo is absolutely disgusting. Kuzi's trying to kill one, but he can't do anything, and Demise are getting absolutely wiped from the map. Fennec is going low, and Impulse continuing his fight versus Pillar. Pillar might be a little strong, but Impulse is just way stronger. That's the third dragon over to Enclave, back to back, and a massive team fight in their favor.
Yeah, just seeing the difference in team composition here really come to fruition. Enclave want to fight you head-on 5v5. Demise just don't have the champions for it. And realistically, no one aside from Rifty is capable of taking some of these fights. Look at the item inventory of Enclave. I'm not sure if they've just about finished up these items as they're resetting now, but you can see Divine Thunder was definitely ready. I'm pretty sure Sykes had that Leandri's, and we already know Impulse was incredibly strong before this fight. And okay, Only Angel has been bullied hard. But guess what? He's playing Malphite. He still gets to press his Archie. Pantheon doesn't have that same level of impact unless he's getting that free backline access, which, quite frankly, he just can't find with all of this peel available to Enclave. So Demise, they've got to try and find some flanks, some different kind of angles or smaller skirmishes, because these greater team fights just won't go in their favor anytime soon.
Yeah, and one thing for Demise is they have been able to pick up both of the Rift Heralds, and this one will be secured by them. No contest coming through. So we'll see what they can do with that. So far, they've been able to take down 2 turrets. Enclave haven't actually taken a single turret this game. So they do still have areas to kind of play behind. The map hasn't been opened up in favor of Enclave. So while they've been winning a couple of fights in these dragons, it's not like they are so far ahead and they control the tempo of the game. It's still pretty close in that term.
Yeah, with those towers still up, it does make rotating two sides when you do have lane priority a little bit harder. It's just more safety for the Demise side, as posturing from Demise looks like they want to pick on Only Angel once again. But
yeah, this
Enclave will be
quite
here.
tanky.
Yeah, and he is tanky. And you can see Enclave this time already on this side of the map. So again, Demise, they really have to avoid these greater skirmishes as Pillar.
Oh, Sykes. Actually going to have to use the ulti to get away. Pillar. Good trade out with him there. Actually, after the ultimate, all is pretty equal between the two mids.
Yeah. And, Pillar doesn't mind trading out the ultimate. In some other matchups, the ultimate is on such a low cooldown that you can just trade like a trade for an ultimate and just come out on the higher end.
Look at that gold difference over time.
Yeah. I mean, it's... You can more or less just see Demise playing towards top side, Enclave getting that one nice fight, and then Demise say, hey, we really want this Cloud Dragon, but Enclave wanted it more. And, yeah, it's not gonna get prettier for Demise if they can't find some side lane picks. But the issue is, Sykes has teleport, Sorix has that ultimate, and even Impulse can join in if he's close enough. So
yeah, we are very close as well to the next dragon. Coming up in a minute 40. Cloud Soul is going to be really nice for Enclave. Not only does it give that movement speed, but just the ability to be able to throw their R's out more consistently is the big thing, because Enclave are very reliant on their ult economy to be able to find these fights. You see, when they use all their ultimates well, like they did at the Dragon Pit last time, they were able to do some serious work, because everybody has their ult up, and I feel like Enclave are going to try and hold for this dragon. You can look at the items that are coming in as well. The Collector and the Gale Force onto Impulse. Got the boots upgraded. Xandru just has boots and the Immortal Shield Bow.
yeah, I mean, the issue here, realistically, is that the members that Enclave need and want to be strong are strong. And on the Demise side, the items just don't match up. And we could just see this resulting in what could be a very one-sided soul fight if Demise actually opt into it, which, honestly, at this point, I don't even think it's worth it. I think you just give the soul over, or you try and flip Baron. That's about it. And if you can't get that Baron, then hey, you just wait for Elder, and you just pray that Fennec got a better smite timing than Cleanser. But when Cleanser's 2 levels up, it's not going to be easy to win that fight, as Pillar is going to take this top tier 2, but it's just gold really at this point. And Enclave, they've got the river priority, which they don't even need. The gold is even, yeah. I don't even think it's going to matter.
Fennec's not there.
Demise,
no
yeah,
smite,
Fennec's
so
not even there,
they're not even contesting this.
Good read, and oh, that's a shame. So if that ward wasn't there, Sykes would have most likely have felt a little more confident walking up, but having seen Fennec and Pillar on that vision just means that he's 100% safe. And we are just going to see kind of a Herald throwaway. Must have most likely have been about to time out. But it's still going to chunk out this top inhibitor tower. But the issue with that now is that Enclave are going to be on this side of the map, because this is where the Baron is. So
Yes, where do they want to go?
yeah. Oh,
unfortunately, we did have a quick disconnect and a quick reconnect, so hopefully that is just a minor little thing. We'll be back into game. Honestly, very close game in terms of gold, but the game does not feel close. It feels like Enclave just has so much control here. Demise doing a good job of picking up these turrets, and that's kind of where they've accrued some gold, plus the early camp putting Only Angel behind. But Only Angel was 3 levels down on Rifty. He's now 1 level down on Rifty. He's got his Mythic. He's got his Bramble Vest. He's only half an item behind Rifty right now.
he's full build pretty much.
He's fine. He's honestly so fine. And you look on the other side of it, Fennec put a lot of attention into getting Rifty ahead. And sure, he has his Staff of Flowing Water and his Moonstone, the Cleanser 604 on the Hecarim. Got the Sterix, got the Divine Sunderer. He's got his Merc Treads as well. He's so comfortable, and Impulse as well. Once that Hurricane comes in, that's when the Kai'Sa starts to really take over in the damage area and start to really be that major carry for the team.
Yeah, and we've seen plenty of Kai'Sa so far in the UKLC absolutely dominate. And at the rate that Impulse is going at in this game, it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up getting a very nice team fight for himself if Demise don't see.
Oh, Pillar wasn't ready.
Right,
Straight back out, but Cleanser may just run him down. Decides not to. Did burn the Ghost for that, but
kind of surprising, honestly. I thought Cleanser may have just decided to. He had Sorex close enough to get that ultimate in. And only Angel was on the other side of Teleport. And it being the side where Baron is, you don't mind making plays on that side of the map if it can result in a Baron take. But Pillar's not really that strong. Well, he's 1-4-1, but he does have Lich Bane and that Rocket Belt. So you saw he did lay into Sykes quite well with a one combo, but you're not quite where you want to be at the moment. And honestly, Enclave playing this one out with they're being patient about it, to say the least. And they don't necessarily have to be, in all honesty, but sometimes safety can just feel better. As Demise, I mean, they're trying to get some vision established here on this side of the map, but you do feel like whenever Enclave feel like it, they can just sweep back through the jungle and reclaim that territory. And it's feeling like a slow burner, Jake.
yeah, it felt like it was very high tempo at the beginning of this game. But after the soul got picked up, Demise just took a real break.
Okay.
Sykes is getting jumped onto, is able to dodge away. I mean, he's going to ult. Pillar's actually going quite low here. Has to ult back to safety. Flashes away as well.
The wrong side of the map.
But yeah, everybody's collapsing in, and there is a Galio in range to ult him. So if Pillar tries to turn this, he's just going to get Galio'd. Puts out the parallel conversions for a slow onto Sykes. Here comes the slow burn. Impulse looking to see if he can get the damage off in time. No, he can't. The Collector cashes in. Teleport burnt for Pillar, and he loses his life. This major signal Baron.
Yeah,
Everyone's on this
Baron.
side of the map.
This is Baron, Jake. Demise are kind of just out of it. I mean, you can already see the bottom lane. They're straight up resetting. They know. They know they can't contest this. And this will just be a Baron for Enclave. And realistically, they could just end within the duration of it. The game state is just so heavily favored for them. And it really feels like Demise, there's not a whole lot they can do at this point. They had this really fed Pantheon in the early to mid game, but they weren't quite able to transition it into any greater lead.
And as Enclave start to cash in on these towers off the back of this Baron buff, that gold lead that we were saying was fairly close. It's obviously grown pretty massively now. As they start to take towers, that gold lead's only going to grow even bigger, even wider.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
There's a lot of standing gold on the map right now for Enclave to pick up, as the gold graph, you can see, has been a little more extended and slowly growing since that third Cloud Dragon fight. And no surprises to see Enclave this far ahead at this point, as top tier 2 gonna get popped. Only Angel now finally has a level lead over Rifty. That's 2 items, actually.
How did that happen?
Well, Baron gives you a lot of XP. Rifty, honestly, I'm not too sure. I mean, they're the same level now, but
I don't know how you go from 3 levels down to a level lead.
management, mismanagement of resources, my dear boy.
Yeah, that is probably the best way to describe that, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, you were saying to me when in Champ Select, you're like, I don't really think Pillar's an Echo player. You know what? I'm inclined to agree with you on that one, mate.
Look, no. So, be kind, because Pillar is a very versatile player. He does have a lot of champions in his pool, but Echo's just not one that I personally associate him with. He spent a lot of time on things like the Syndra, which, I mean, he could have picked up here. And I don't think it would have...
He was open, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been horrible here either, but there is so much dive that maybe you just feel like, maybe not.
Yeah, you know what? I actually think Echo's okay as a pick into this comp just because of the amount of dive they've got.
Yeah.
And it was actually didn't go for Hurricane.
Dive.
Interestingly enough, he went for the Phantom Dancer.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't even need to attack this tower. He's got the cannon, he's got casters, and that tower is just going to die.
Yeah.
Only Angel bot side got demolished. He's got Baron up minions to work with as well.
Yeah. And Pillar here to dissuade, but that tower's already lost half of his HP. And at this point, Enclave just probably playing towards this Elder. Just taking some nice deep control of the jungle, which Demise are trying to reclaim, but realistically, if we could get a toggle of the Demise vision for a second, it's pretty much darkness in that red side jungle. Doesn't go any further than the red buff. They do have actually a very, very nice deep pink ward at Enclave's blue buff, but flanking looks difficult. Looks like
Only Angel is on his own here, but he has that ultimate, and he may just look to throw it onto the back line. Everyone gets pulled in with a Magnet Storm. Look for Pillar, big stun, but he is just annihilated. Sykes takes him down. Here comes the charge. Here comes the entrance. Enclave don't quite hit the abilities they wanted to, and the Grand Starfall by Rifty to safety. I know he was safe. Is going to be used, and Impulse may just be looking for Cozy. Puts a lot of damage into him. Dodging away. Here's the Chaos Storm. They may just look to turn this around. Torn over the wall. Isn't going to quite hit anyone, but Impulse remains untouched for the moment. Only
look at Xandru!
away. Xandru pulls out the ultimate, trying to catch onto everyone. Thorax looking for that taunt, but Enclave, they're just so far ahead, and Demise don't have the damage to stick. Impulse will start up the Elder, and Enclave can go back to business.
Back to business. I have my fist clenched. That was the moment that we could maybe actually see this Samira champion actually do something in the UKLC. But unfortunately, again, for Xandru, on this pick, actually, he's just not been able to get into the midst of these fights. We had a really close one very early on, and right there, I mean, if he gets that Infernal Trigger off, honestly, Enclave could just lose that skirmish, that fight. They very easily could have, but at the end of the day, Enclave, the lead's too big. They've got too much gold. At this point, it's more or less just slapping Demise with the wallet. And they pick up the Elder, and with this buff, they can kind of just force anywhere they want. They've practically got all of their ultimates up and ready.
I don't know if they're slapping them with the wallet here. I think they're slapping them with the whole bank.
Yeah, yeah. I think bank is probably more accurate than the wallet at this point, as Fennec almost gets his recall interrupted.
Well, Pillar is able to push the wave in bot side, which means there won't be a wave pushing there for a while, but Baron's going to be coming up in a minute 14. It feels like Enclave are just chilling until that comes up. Can't really siege without it unless they go for a massive tower dive.
I mean,
and
they have Elder.
I would advise not doing that because there's a lot of shutdown gold. However, they don't care. They're going in. Pillar's looking for the stun, but he's not going to find it. And they're fighting into Elder, remember. So even with this, there's a lot of burst. The taunt comes in from Storex. Rifty uses a lot of health as he is being cooked. Chaos Storm is going to move away from him, however. And Enclave, they don't care about your towers. They don't care about your Echo. They just want to take this base.
They do not care at all. With this Elder buff in pocket, I mean, it's just so difficult to skirmish into it. Such an oppressive buff. It has been like this for such a long time. And goodbye Inhibitor Tower. You'd imagine the Inhib's going to fall on the backside. And I mean, Demise, I wouldn't even call this last chance to loon. I think that passed a little while ago. Enclave could just retreat to the Baron. We're seeing the pings onto it. And it would have to be a miracle for Demise to find any kind of positive fight. Certainly don't want to disrupt Enclave on this Baron, I'll tell you that for free. And there should just be the buff going over. No contest at all, and Death Brush, 5-man, parallel convergence into... Oh, they just don't have the tools for good team fighting.
They just don't. The teleport's coming in top side as well. They're going to use this Baron buff. They don't want a base, they just want to end.
Yeah.
It's only Angel just zoning away for the moment. Pillar about to have a whole bunch of other members join him here.
Looking like the second Inhibitor Tower and Inhib to boot. I mean, they've got another minion wave coming. They could stay up here and actually siege out if they wanted to.
They've got supers mid as well.
Yeah, they've got the supers mid already, but I was going to say, I like this reset. I don't mind this reset. They can just play it clean. They know that the inhibitor spawn times are close enough to each other for them to just go and play on this third lane in bot and just let the supers do their work. Can always send Only Angel to go and buff up those minions, because at this point, I mean, he's too tanky to be taken down by anybody on this Demise side. And if they do commit for him, well, Enclave just take the third inhibitor. Easy as can be. And I think, I mean, it feels like the game's been done for a little while, but Enclave just taking their time about it.
Just dotting the I's and crossing the T's here for Enclave. Going to catch this wave bot side. Psyche's able to deal with that, and this should just be the last turret outside of the base crumbling. Only 3 turrets stand for Demise. They are going to need a bloody miracle to pull this out. Question is, can they? Pillar looking for the stun. Impulse able to supercharge away. Great Zhonya's. Actually goes straight back in. Cluzy trying to pull members out as Impulse just dives back away to safety.
Ooh.
Pillar will get himself a kill onto Only Angel, but support for top laner. Not an awful trade for Demise.
But the third inhib drops. That's the issue.
The trade isn't just the kills. In an isolated kill scenario, that's a fine trade when you're behind. When you're losing an inhibitor on top of that, and the last inhibitor in your base, now you know you're in trouble. Impulse still got the GA, still got the flash, still got the exhaust. They're looking for the play, but the taunt's going to be huge, and that's the shutdown by Sykes. Heroic entrance in, as Rifty was doing his best, but Impulse will be able to take him out. As it's a double kill onto Sykes, the turret will fall, and every structure falls down to Enclave as they get a win over Demise. Demise 0-3 here at the UKLC.
Yep. That is going to be Enclave pushing Demise to the bottom of the table. Enclave finding their first win of the split. And, you know, very tempered. But at the end of the day, the draft kind of just seemed like Demise, they couldn't find those numbers advantages. And Enclave had the tools to respond to them if they actually attempted to actually find numbers advantage anywhere, which they kind of just didn't. You know, they sent Rifty light years ahead, and it just wasn't really enough. He wasn't able to impact the map. He wasn't able to sort of get anywhere else outside of top lane. So
I have to give massive props to Only Angel. Like, that guy got incredibly camped, and we were joking about how tragic it looked. He ended the game with a level lead over Rifty. He was so much more impactful for his team. Just, honestly, massive props to Only Angel. He played that game as well as someone playing weak side could. Honestly, just fantastic stuff from Enclave. And with that, they're able to get a win. Demise still unable to find one here in the spring season of 2021. But we still have more League of Legends to come. Coming up after the break, we're going to have an interview and a further breakdown of that game. So we'll see you in a second.
paradise.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. Coming fresh off a win for Enclave, a pretty dominating win over Demise. A lot of attention put into Rifty. He got only Angel behind. He got very fed on that Pantheon, and then nothing really came of it. I think that's the best way to talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you don't have a team fight composition or a very low execution threshold composition like what Demise, well, they had that. They've got two champions who more or less prefer, I beg your pardon, to side lane. They don't like team fighting that much, and particularly when you're talking about into that Enclave draft where you've got these big Hecarim ultimates, you've got this Victor who's dishing out loads of AoE damage, and then you've got this massive Galio gargoyle just smashing down and taunting everything. It's like, if you're a melee champion like Pantheon or Echo who's got these really linear kits, you're like, nah, I prefer not to. And, for me, it's like Demise had to try and play numbers advantage, or they had to just play 1-4, 1-3-1, have Rifty rotate over on some of these ultimates, and they never really set themselves up for that. And I think it was it was almost reminiscent-ish of last week. They weren't ever able really to set up Rifty for proper flanks. He only really got off 2, but the 2 times he got those flanks on the Vladimir, he looked really threatening. And I think at the moment that seems like the hurdle for the Mice to overcome is actually recognizing win conditions and trying to play to them.
Absolutely. Now, I do believe we have a little drawing board for you. I need to.
I'm not.
Hope our producer's ready for that one. I haven't had a clip, but
yeah,
is the drawing board ready? I don't know. We'll find out.
I think it's broken.
Oh, it's broken.
Now. Yeah, I'm not sure it's entirely functioning.
Welcome to UKLC. Everything's on fire at the moment. We had pauses, we had replay issues. It's all good. It's all good. We can talk a little bit more. We do have an interview coming up with... Who was an interview with? Who is it, sorry?
Sykes.
The
Enclave.
We are a little bit away from that. I think we're just getting him ready to go. So we have a little bit more time to talk about that game in particular. Is there like anything else but maybe you think could have been done differently? Do you think maybe Enclave could have closed it out cleaner? What would you like to see from that game?
From both sides, I think there's obviously, you can take something away from any game. And I think it's always important to take things away from games, even when they're stumpy wins or what end up being stumpy wins, like what we saw from Enclave here. Enclave, I think it would have done them well if they were a little sharper on punishing the bottom lane of Demise, because it seemed like they were really far up the lane a lot and they weren't really being punished for what was very illegal gameplay at multiple points in the laning phase. And when you have one side of the map losing as heavily as that, you want to see, as that person being punished, the other side of your map winning really hard. And it just wasn't quite the case. And sure, Cleanser, he had a huge lead, but the issue was he wasn't flaunting his lead a lot.
Yeah, his first major play was actually coming in and turning around like the third dive top lane, getting himself a kill. And I was like, that was when he got a big shutdown, and that's when he started to get stuff. He did pick up an early dragon, and we did see an incredibly early Cloud Soul that game. As well, which I know people like to smack on Cloud Soul. I love Cloud Soul. I think especially in a comp where you're all about pressing R, and everyone's major like thing is, apart from the Victor, is their R. It did help having those ultis on shorter cooldowns. It was a 20% shaved off, so every little helps, and also a little bit more movement speed to chase down those members, because like you're saying, Demise, they were a little more linear. They weren't really, built to team fight as effectively as what Enclave had built.
Yeah, no, they're just kind of plain and simple. Demise didn't quite look comfortable on that composition in general. And I think you put yourself in a very hard situation when you don't move a champion as strong as Pantheon out of the lane earlier. Because, okay, great, you're punishing Malphite. It's like punishing almost any other tank in the game, right? Yeah. They're still going to be... Most of these tanks have these big, high-impact ultimates, or they're still just huge meat shields for their team. So it doesn't really matter if you punish this tank if you're not going to then move that pressure somewhere else on the map. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Thinking for a little more drawing board time for Demise, hopefully they can pick up a win tomorrow, because, it will definitely sort of help boost the morale.
Absolutely. Now, unfortunately, we weren't able to get Sykes in for the interview. More issues are stopping on fire, but that does mean we can cut to a quick break. And when we're back with London versus Resolve. So we'll see you in 2 secs.